Hey YouTube, we're back with part 7 of the flaps mod on the aerocommander. We got this done, and now we're ready to do the inboard flaps. But then I got to thinking, you know what? I better do the other outboard flap before I get too far ahead of myself and make some sort of a, like a different method. So I'm going to do that right now, actually. Sometimes it's easier to do these things when there's symmetry involved, in close time proximity to one another. Should be a lot quicker this time, guys. That was super long and boring. Which, honestly, half my build videos especially, are super long and boring. Even though they might be informative, it's just there's no way to make these quick without editing. I'm not going to edit. So I hope you guys tolerate it for a long time. This is kind of like borderline entertainment. It's more like educational stuff. Let's just be real. If you want entertainment, it's probably more on the flight side of things. Okay, so we got that cut made. So now we should be able to use the hot knife. When I say hot, I mean this is just barely warmed up. Okay, that went pretty smooth. Okay, so now I just want to make sure my cut's in the same spot, and I want to avoid having that nasty spot there. I mean, granted, guys, I'll be able to figure it out. I'll fix it or something, but I really want symmetry here. In fact, I want it so bad I'm going to measure, something I rarely do. See, and I kind of screwed up here too. See, it's wider than it is down here. Gosh, really screwed up a lot there. These things work really nice for just scoring. Just gonna ride the seam there. Okay, so I just gotta refresh my memory. I'm gonna be cutting down and away. See, now that I've got a model to work off of, it's a lot easier for me to copy what I did, which is exactly why you guys should watch my boring long videos. Because then all you have to do is just figure out where I screwed up and then don't screw up that way. And you can have a better plane than me every single time. Nice, nice, nice. That's what I wanted to happen with the last one. See, now when that opens up, see, it's got to cut like this from the main wing, and the same thing's going to be true here. So as this opens, it's going to be a perfecto mundo. But I gotta keep my cut going, because right now it's just trying to weaken the bottom half of that foam. Okay, so it just released, finally. And I think I got a little bit closer to the edge than I did on the other one. That's fine. As long as they're not like a huge difference in size, that's not a problem for me. Okay, so let's look at the bottom here. Yeah, see, we got really close to that edge there. But it's okay, we didn't make it through, so that's all that matters. That works so much better than that red one. The red one kind of stinks. Okay, so on YouTube, guys, I'm sure you've seen it because I've seen it. I don't just make videos, I watch them too. There's these guys that speak German, and I think they work as professional pilots for Horizon, and they make these little foamies, and they just, every time I see them, I just love them. And I wish I could buy them. They're super light, and they fly indoors. And I'm trying to figure out exactly if my assessment is correct, that they're in fact Horizon Hobby employees, or if they're just sponsored by Horizon Hobby, and how all that works, because it is awesome. Okay, so this side needs to be taped next. We'll go ahead and get a longer chunk here, because we need like 4 smaller pieces. So we'll just take the first chunk off sacrificially. The second piece we'll cut, and we'll apply it with a knife, so we can keep fingerprints off of it, or at least minimize them. Okay, hold that just outside, whatever you think you can get away with. Still have it look good. Okay, it's not wanting to stick because I'm not pushing hard enough. Okay, there we go. So we'll hold the one side. Hold this more or less in place. And then press down pretty hard, actually. Oops. Need the blade over here because the nature of the structure. Just hold that down. Okay, so now we can get our first look. Oh, that's so cool. It's gonna be so cool when all 4 are down. Okay, so I need to get it taped on the inside as well. These Q-tips work nice for this step. You see how I've kind of got a little bit of a gap there almost, guys? That's definitely intentional. Ooh. See how it's rubbing there? It's not rubbing on that side. I must have opened it up a little bit more. I need to probably open that up here shortly too. But for now, I think we'll just get the tape in there first. Come back to that a little bit later. Now, I guess on that one, I just push the tape down into the front, and we'll see how it holds on there. See, we're really close until we get down to the bottom, and I guarantee that's going to bind with the aileron. But I'm reluctant to take a lot of material off, so let's just do a little teeny bit. Okay, I'm going to show you another little method with this. I'm going to heat down here, so I can actually slide the cool portion. I can slide the cool portion in, okay, like this, and then I can just quickly slip the warmer portion in. I don't know if that's going to work so hot on here. We'll see. Pun intended. Hot. Get it? Hilarious. Wow, that was effective, but way too quick. Actually, I got that really nice. I'm happy with that. that worked out good. Okay, so now we're free. Alright, so keeping in mind that while these are very limited amount of resistance, this one seems to go up just a little bit higher than this one. And I should probably try to nib that in the butt right now. I don't want, or nip it in the bud right now, because I don't want to deal with that later. That could get a little bit complicated. Hypothetically, if I do my job right later, this won't be an issue. But I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be an issue. Why don't we address it later? I'll have to just come back to it because I'm not sure it's going to even be an issue. Okay, so we have the 2 outboard ones. That did go a lot quicker. Good. So now we do the inboard ones. And my proof of concept was right about the clearance, so we need to cut the inside and the outside. So I was thinking about how I might get this cut neat. And I got to remembering I used to have a blade that was bent. And if I had a cutting blade that was bent, I could do it that way. And because remember, we can't get our tool in there appropriately. But we want to get as much flap as, well, we could also just go off of this mark right here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Now this time we can go all the way back to the seam, the actual seam that we wanted to use on the bottom. I can tell I'm through. I feel like I'm having better control this time than I did last time. Feels way more controlled, in fact. Cool. That went really smooth. Way smoother than the last set. That first outboard aileron was just, I don't know, or the first outboard flap was just scaring me a lot. You don't want to have a problem that you can't undo, or at least I don't. Okay, I think I'm hitting my tape now. Maybe that tape was helping as the blade extended out the bottom. I don't know. I can't even tell if I made it through. It's hard to tell, but I want to make sure I'm not going into the nacelle. No, I'm not going into the nacelle. How come I didn't make it through on this side? It's weird. Or wait, am I on the wrong side? No, I made it through on both sides now. That's going to look a lot better than the other side, which I'm okay with. But remember, guys, we had this control rod that we wanted to totally preserve and not interfere with. And to be honest, we're going to have plenty of flat material. But in terms of scale appearance, it would have been really cool to have that. Okay, so when I cut this down, where are we going to protrude out? I want to try to get a nice transfer from the first mark to the first mark. So let's just try right here. Let's try going straight up and down. Oh yeah, awesome. I'll just make it square. Now I'm going to go square down here, but I'm not going to cut it through the middle. Okay, so you could hear that. That noise is a bad noise. Yeah, because it popped out on both sides. That ticks me off. It made a little breakout at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just cutting down about 25% of the way. And then I'm just going to fold it down, or try. It's going to need some TLC, some encouragement here to break down all the way. See, I'm using my ring finger on my right hand here to hold down the flap. I'm starting from my deep cut and then walking over with the blade. Works really sharp, actually. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome looking, guys. Okay, so before I push that down any further, I gotta get my hinge openings opened up a little bit more, because right now they're binding up real bad. So I'm gonna do that with probably with this shim, even though it's probably a little bit more than I want to do. I'm gonna try heating in the middle, which is just be careful if you do that. Okay, so I can start here where it's dry, where it's not hot yet. I can just move down to where it is hot, and then it'll slip in there. Sweet, that was easier to control than the last one, so we'll do that again. Okay, so now we'll come in here, same scenario, just gotta try to stay away from the foam on the bottom. Oh boy, that got a little scary. It started really sticking, and so I had trouble getting that out. Okay, that method will not necessarily going to be so good. Now I have to make a remedial action on that side right there. It's going to be tricky. I hate it when it sticks like that, guys. It does that every once in a while. You'll have one that sticks real bad. That one was sticking really bad. Okay, so let that cool. Use the dirty knife. It would probably work better for this last little bit. Perfect. Okay, so we got that. And then in here, we'll just touch this with a warm blade. It'll just kind of take away that little breaking area. Cool. Alright, here it is. Okay, so you see one problem we're running into is where this broke out down here, so I gotta try to address that real quick with a knife. See, we're running into the airplane itself here, so I need to take and cut just at a very shallow angle here. Get a little material or it'll just break off chunks. Okay. Cool. Alright, so we got that little bite out of there, which I'm not a real big fan of having to do that, but we're going to have to do it on that one. Then this corner, this little chunk that popped out, that actually could come in handy somewhere else, maybe. Just cleaning up that nasty cut. Cool. That looks really nice. Okay, so that, the inside of this hinged point here has a chunk in it. So I'm peeling it out right now. Okay, so that's out of there now. That's going to be a really good inboard flap right there. Oh yeah, that looks so gorgeous. So gorgeous. Okay. So back to reality now for a minute. See this, how it's got a wave in it? It comes down and then it goes back up just very slightly. I'm just going to take and use pressure to fix that. And I'm going to use an absence of pressure where there was already a relief. And then that'll give us a nice square looking hinge joint there. And you'll notice that we have a pretty wide opening here, but that's probably a good thing because we didn't run into any problems. We may need to just do this side a little bit more. We might need to get a little bit more heat cut in there. I think that's the way to do it. I think we just need to get a little more heat and just chase it in a shallow cut. Let's try it. Heat it up. Okay. As it cools, that's when it sticks, guys. And when I say cool, it's still over 150 degrees, so occasionally you do have to take and wipe these off and clean the debris because it gets sticky. Okay. We're just going to try this one a little different than we did the other side. We'll just make a bigger opening, period. Okay, now I'm going to clean this tip off. We're going to do the other side. But we'll have to tape it shut. Or hold it shut. Get it warm. Boy, I really like the way that looked, but I just don't want to have to worry about stuff binding, guys. That's when you start crashing planes. It's when you're getting binding on control surfaces like that. Okay, so now to cut the over the front portion there. We don't even need to penetrate all the way to the other side on this cut, so we're not gonna. See, I'm not pushing it down this time. Different method. Now I'm going to start opening it. It's not wanting to open yet. It's almost like I melted that back shut. I'm going to try to get that open back up. Still pretty warm down there. Okay, putting down the cool area. I'm going to pull it up through. Didn't get it enough. Okay. Cool area. Pull it to the warm area and push it back out. Cool. I think we got it that time. A lot more progress on this video, guys. Finally. I get one where a little something happens. Okay, we're getting good separation now, finally. Okay. Oh, guys, that looks so cool. That's going to look awesome when those things are deployed. Is that not just going to be so gorgeous? Oh, I love it. Coming in for landing, you got those flaps coming down. Of course, they're all going to be the same exact angle or really darn close. Coming by like, you know, half a mile an hour. Maybe it won't be that slow, but still, that'd be cool. Okay, so now we need to do that little bit of extra removal of material on that inside corner there. Yeah, we kind of have that same problem we did on the other side. We didn't totally alleviate with the thicker cut. Oh, that was so much easier that time. I tell you what, sometimes the second and third times on these is just, it's like night and day. So much easier. Okay, so you see that one, how it's still wanting to kind of come up and almost touch? Okay, now it's not going to do that. So now we need to tape this. So in order to tape it, I'm going to peel off a piece that's long enough for both sides. Control, stick it, hold the end down here. Oh, that son of a gun fell. Okay, so I need to go at least that wide. So we should be good there. We should be good here. Well, that worked out kind of nice. Kind of fell loosely on my finger, so it's not going to make an oil mark. Okay. Doesn't really matter which one goes first. Ooh. I think I got a little bit too long yet. Yep, a little bit too long. I'm going to cut that square so it doesn't give us problems. It's at a bit of an angle right now. And you guys might have noticed on my Cessna 182, oh, I have it upside down, son of a gun. On my Cessna 182, I didn't even tape the backside of the flap hinges because it was just such a stout connection. I felt that it was super secure. This one's obviously way more secure than these are ever going to be perfectly honest. So we may get away with the same thing. We're never going to go more than 90 degrees unless it's by accident. Okay? So we don't need to worry about that. And they're able to be pushed back fairly easy. Very light load to do that. If you have a lot of load required to do that, you're going to have problems. So, okay, I'm using this to measure how wide to make my cut. I don't know if you guys caught that the first time or not. Alright guys, here you go. So I can just tape right there. See, now if you put your tape joint on the top too, what'll happen is this gets a whole lot harder to manipulate. And you see how it's wanting to hit? Well, we're hitting it just past 90 degrees. And you see how we're hitting a little bit further past. It shouldn't matter that there's a difference there. Because even though the flap size is a little bit different, in real life that'd make a big difference. And I guess this technically is still going to impact, it's going to create an adverse yaw condition. Or at least a yaw condition. I don't know if I'd call it necessarily adverse. But when you deploy, if you have a differential in flap size, it can cause all sorts of grief. So you want to try to keep them as close as possible. I mean, in this application, it's not going to be a big deal. But I hate the way that is all stringy still. That first one's just not looking as good as I want. Alright guys, we're at just about out of time. When we come back, is this part 6, guys? Or is this part 7? I think it's part 6. Either way, when we come back with the next video, just because I can't really get into it yet, we're going to be looking at the next feature, which is going to be our metal wire. And I'm just noticing a problem with my design that I'm hoping I can come to a simple solution on, and I'll show you right now. This flap is bigger than this flap, and it hinges from a slightly different spot, meaning that the wire coming out normally hinges from the same position. So this one might have to have some sort of a linkage or something on it. So we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to get this all worked out. But for now, look how awesome that looks, guys, with those flaps. Oh, it's so cool. It's going to be awesome in flight. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications if you want notifications on my channel.